What is happening, everybody? And more importantly, what's going on, D Nation? How you guys doing today? It's your boy D.A.N.N.Y, and I'm here back at it again with the other episode of Storytime with D.A.N.N.Y. And today is going to be very different because I'm gonna tell you something that you've never heard before. You think the last one I told you on that part was inspiring. This is going to be very touching. So, I'm going to tell you guys this story that nobody's ever heard before on this one. You know, while growing up, right? When I was a kid, right? I was going through some things like, take for example, like you go to the doctor's office. Then, after you go to the doctor's office, you expect to hear good news and all. Well, this is going to be no different than this one. So, when I was a kid, right? Excuse me. When I went to the doctor's office, went to get checked up like every other kid would do to get checked up. And then the nurse calls me in. And then she would tell me to do this and this and that. And then we all know the rest of what happens, right? And then she says, the doctor will be right with you. And then after that, then this doctor came over to me. And then after that, he did some tests. He did a lot of things, and after he was done giving me some things like checking me out, what like every doctor would do with the patients, like check them out and all that to see if they're okay and all, to see what they can prescribe and all that. And then around that time, he wanted to talk to my mother privately. So he asked to talk to my mother. And then this doctor tells my mother that I'm going to be deaf and mute and not know who anybody is. And then, and while that was going on, my mother said, no, he's not. He's not going to be deaf mute. You know why? Because he's going to be fine. Just, she was asking him for a second opinion, and she wanted a second opinion. So she got the second opinion. And around that time, right, we went to the hospital. We went to the hospital in, I guess you could say it was in Boston, if you know what I mean. The big hospital down there in Boston. And then after that, while we were on the road, and rest in peace to, I think I mentioned them before, rest in peace to my grandmother and my grandfather, for taking me down there. And my mother came along with me for this ride, because because they wanted to support, the whole thing. And they were saying, get a second opinion and get operated over there. So we get there, we let them know what we're there for, and then after that, we were in the waiting room. And while we were in the waiting room, right, something happened to me during that time in the waiting room. Something that you may not know how to describe it and all, because that will leave you without words or anything. But something miraculously happened to me that day. And I was beginning to start hearing and talking. And then while that was happening, my family starts to, be more happier and joyed, cried with happiness and all that, because it was a great moment that happened, because it was a miracle, like I could hear and I could talk at the same time and all that. But man, it was just things that you never thought you can go through while being a little kid and all. But hey, like I say, it was an amazing moment for me. And then while growing up, my mother told me that story while I was getting a bit older and all that. And she told me, don't ever forget whatever happened to you. And be always thankful to Jehovah, the one and only, because he was the one that made that miracle happen. So that's what I would always remember. And I would always keep that in my heart for the rest of my life. And that's the most important thing in life is to put Jehovah, the one and only, first at all times. And every miracle happens not because you deserve it, that not because you demand it, not because you deserve it, but sometimes you want a miracle because you always pray about it, because that's what everything is about. Prayer comes first and it always comes into fruition. And when it comes to that, it's, I can't describe it by words, but it's just an amazing feeling. That's all I could say. So it was a journey for me around that time, to go through a miracle. And then while getting older and learning a lot about that, man, I was like, man, it was one of those childhood moments that I will never forget. And I'm always going to be thankful and grateful for that forever. And I will not only that, but I will always cherish it in my heart. As long as I'm around, I will always cherish it in my heart forever. So I hope you guys, well, enjoyed this because it was one of these most memorable moments that I had to go through. And I hopefully hope that it touched your heart or even inspired you because, um, to be honest, it was an amazing moment for me. So hopefully, hope you guys have a great day, and hopefully you guys are enjoying a great Thursday today because every day is a new day, and hopefully everything could happen for a reason. Every new things can happen for a reason. So hope you guys enjoy your day, spend time with your loved ones, and stay tuned for the next episode of DJ Talk. And have a pleasant evening. Have a pleasant day. Peace out.